Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life's transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday, March 5th. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also join our Facebook group at Life Transformation Radio Community and never miss an episode by subscribing to Life Transformation Radio on your favorite podcast platform. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, Himalaya, the Google Podcast, Pandora, a whole host of other podcatchers, and you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Life Transformation Radio. So hit that subscribe button and please leave us a rating and a review to let us know what you think of the show. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people impacting the world around them. And my guest today has done exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, go ahead and give us a call at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. If you are joining us live Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, come be a part of the show. And with that, please have a welcome to the show, my amazing friend, amazing guests, and all-around awesome human, Aisha Alim. Aisha, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you for having me, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am super excited to have you on the show. We've been talking about this for a while. We've been Facebook friends for a while, and I just love what you're doing in the space and how you're elevating everybody around you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we both love transformation, and something that we're going to talk about today is your book and how you are transforming lives. And I'm really excited to talk about that. And so Aisha is an empowerment coach, a speaker, consultant, mentor, facilitator, and now she is a published author. She has completed Metadynamics 1 and Foundations of Coaching Success in Life Coaching and brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in personal growth and development, running workshops, and has presented topics she is particularly passionate about as a public speaker in a variety of settings over many years. In 2017, she turned her attention specifically to life coaching and facilitating adult workshops with a particular passion in helping people find their purpose, overcome fear, and propelling them forward in life. She takes a very balanced view of things and believes true authenticity comes from experience and a willingness to learn. Aisha has worked in many industries in a variety of roles, including management and training, others in leadership development. She has always been highly sought after for her wisdom and advice from a very young age, and has a proven track record in helping clients live authentic, happy lives. Currently, she is actively coaching multiple clients, running self-empowerment courses and professional development workshops. She aims to speak to audiences all over the world, seeking to better themselves, and welcomes the opportunity to do so with you or anyone that you may know. She continues to be involved in her local community with a particular interest in teaching dance and umpiring hockey. I love hockey. So that's super cool. If you want to know more about what she's doing, her website and her social media links are right there in the show notes. Go ahead and click on those. Send her a friend request on your favorite social media platform and let her know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. Go to AISHAALIM.com and go check out Alicia's website.
Aisha.
Aisha, the first question that I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question you could ever ask yourself, is why? Why do you do what you do?
Look, we've had many discussions about this, and I think ultimately most coaches that I know have had some type of negative experience in their life and have realised that, well, in my case, I'll speak from my perspective, I knew I was worth more. I was trapped by depression, anxiety. I had some pretty awful experiences, and that ultimately pushed me to better myself. And then, having learned all of those tools and strategies for myself, I wanted to share that with other people. And so that's why that particular passion was further mainstreamed in 2017 when I targeted coaching in particular. And it was that desire to share with other people what I had and the wonderful experiences that I had in transforming my life from being a very negative, very disempowering, hopeless almost, I would go to that extent, type of a lifestyle that I was leading at that time, to one that is now, getting ahead. It's living a life full of passion and purpose and helping other people to do that. So that was really that desire just to share that with the world. And because at the end of the day, I care. I genuinely care about people, and I want them to have a happy and fulfilling life too. So that's where that sort of came from. Yeah.
Love it. I love how you took a passion and really honed in and made something of it and then put it out to the world. I feel like so many people have passions that they harbor just for themselves, or they're too afraid to tell anybody about it, or it's just a hobby. It's not really thinking I want to take serious. I just kind of dabbing in it,
Yeah.
But I feel like if you did go all in on that passion, you would never work a day in your life. And then that passion would fuel somebody else to do something amazing, because you never know what you might say or do that changes a life and puts them on their own transformational path.
And that's the thing, I think, too, Sean, when you're starting out on this journey, you look at people that are doing things like, let's use you as the example. I can remember looking at you and thinking, wow, he's doing amazing things. But you've got to get back and get past this comparison thing, because everybody's journey is different. If you can hone in, like you said, instead of looking at it as a hobby, knowledge is nothing unless it's shared.
Right.
If you've got a vast array of knowledge, what are you going to do with it if you're going to keep it to yourself? It's useless. So using that to not only better yourself, but using it to help other people, your path is not going to be a trajectory straight like a NASA going straight to the moon.
Right.
It's going to be wavy. It's going to be, okay, well, that didn't work out. What can I try instead? So instead of looking at those steps along the way as failures, in inverted commas, see it as a learning curve, put your hand up, ask for help, which is really a great sign of growth, and also trust the people that are doing the wonderful things in life. Don't reinvent the wheel. Ask them, what systems are working for you? What have you got in place? So that it makes your journey just that little bit easier. They're the sort of tips and things that I did that really helped me get ahead too.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. We all go through quite a few transformations throughout life. You know, when you go from school to college or university to career to parenting, you know, and there's a lot of transformation that happens through that process. The theme of the show is about highlighting the transformational moments that we've gone through that directly put us on the path that we're on now.
Yeah.
So I ask you, what is your transformational moment that has changed your life and put you on the path to what you're doing today?
There's one particular moment that comes to mind, and I've had a few, and I think that I call them defining moments. And I think, you know, when you get a moment where you can either say, right, I'm in a place where I don't really want to be, and I can either stay there or I'm going to move ahead. Now, 2016 it happened to be for me, and I was in a very bad place as far as a relationship, and there was video surveillance in my home.
Wow.
There was listening devices. I was stalked. I was abused. I had all sorts of things going on. Something like you'd probably see off a movie, one of those thrillers.
Yeah.
Now, it went on for 3.5 months, and my phone was controlled. I was watched. I was followed. It was pretty hectic.
Jeez.
And, you know, he was a pretty dangerous man. And I ended up, there was two things that could have happened. Either A, they'd drive me to suicide, and I'm a very strong person, and it was pretty hectic, or B, they would kill me. So I did the unthinkable and took the 180 and did something that no one ever thought that I would do, and I up and left everything. My home, my beautiful home. I had my daughter, got her to safety to my mum's. She was old enough to actually move out of home at the time, but still that was, as a mum, that was a critical part because her life was in danger too. So basically, I did the unthinkable, packed up a car, and I thought I was on the road to nowhere, but that's where that journey actually began. So it was in that moment I had to make the decision. Am I going to continue to live like a victim, or am I going to do something that I know I'm worthy of more? And so I took that road, and I haven't looked back. And I can honestly say too, and for your listeners, I want to encourage them to think, oh, well, it's really not that easy. Well, no, it's not. But if you're committed to yourself and believe in yourself and willing to ask for help, it will happen for you. But it's never a straight path. It will be, as I said earlier, it'll be a bit of a windy road, but just keeping that bit of self-belief is really where I'd had it at the forefront of my mind. I'm worthy of more. I'm worthy of more. And that was really what set the path in motion to then go on and better myself and then help other people as a result.
Got it. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
You had a snippet.
I got goosebumps, you know. Yeah, I lived in a domestic violence, alcohol dominated household as a kid. And that is not fun. That is not fun to watch people abused, and so literally can't really do anything about it. So,
and that's the hard part as a kid, isn't it? I understand what you're talking about. I was raised in the same environment. That powerlessness as a child, not being able to help, and then I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to get over the guilt that I felt of not being able to help. Yeah, so I do get that too. Not nice.
And I just kept thinking, as you were just saying, you know, it's a wheel. It's almost like a wheel, like the negativity goes like this, and then it comes back around, and it just goes.
Yes.
And it goes. And it just goes, and then it spirals out of control. Like it starts in a place, kind of like a funnel, right? It starts in a place, and then it goes in a circle, and then it goes, and it goes, and it catches speed, and then you just spiral out of control. And I feel, I feel like that's what happened to us. Feels like it happens to a lot of people. And I remember when we ran the first time, you know, my mom said, "We got to go." You know, cops came, took him away. She's like, "We got to go," and then he found us. He got out of jail and found us.
Yes. Yep.
and then it was like, okay, I'll come back or whatever. And it was just like, oh my gosh, what are we
That
doing?
cyclic sort of thing that you go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to find the spoke to put in the wheel of stopping that negative cycle is really the key, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's a
absolutely.
horrible thing to go through. It really is. And I'll say this for you, Sean, too. I commend you as a human being and as a man in your own right, that you stopped the cycle, because you as a human being, and the most beautiful human being, that I've come across, male I'm talking about, for quite a while. So I commend you on breaking the cycle for a start. And not only that, being a role model of excellence for other people. So it really is, refreshing to see. So yeah.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't easy because being in the military and the lifestyle that we lead.
Oh, yes.
I don't say live. I say we lead a lifestyle. I mean, we lead a lifestyle. And being settled down as a young military guy, it's tough. And then they don't get it. So there's things that you got to explain to them. And then when you leave for deployment, or you go TDY somewhere, it's like you want to cut loose and be like, oh man, it's just me and the guys, it's me and the team. It's, there's a cycle there. There's a cycle of guilt. It's like, well, should I go to the bar, or should I go do these things, or whatever? Like, I'm married. I mean, I know there's some things I cannot do now, but nothing wrong with having a couple drinks, and then that turns into a bunch of other stuff, which turns into a bunch of other stuff. And then it's just like, it's out of control, and you forget, you're like, oh, I'm married. I got a kid. Like, so it wasn't easy. And then having kids myself kind of scared me, because, I don't want to yell at them, but at the same time, like, they have to be disciplined.
Yes.
So I remember disciplining them for the first time, and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm abusing them. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. And like, I was so afraid that that's what would happen, which led to a bunch of other stuff. But like you said, just breaking the cycle, it's not easy, but it can be done. And something my wife and I talk about quite a bit, like, how are we going to raise our kids?
That's the key there, is that communication, having open dialogue with people, and that willingness to actually sit and listen with the intent to understand and not to respond. Because a lot of people do that. They're already preparing an answer in their mind when they're having a conversation, or, oh, I know exactly what you mean. When that happened to me, da 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 da, which is not, where we want to be. So that aspect with your communication there is absolutely critical, and getting on the same page. And, with your kids and so forth, you're right. It's when you've been in a domestically violent home, there is always that fear. Am I going to do this? I don't want to. And it's always questioning yourself. But again, developing that self-awareness, knowing who you are as a person, knowing that you are a good soul and you're doing your best, you get it, taking advice on and seeing what works for you. But the fact that you have that open dialogue, I love that. With you and your wife, that is such an important aspect. And for your listeners too, I can't highlight that enough. Being an empathetic listener is a critical part of, an effective marriage. And just sitting down and having that willingness to actually understand their point of view, it really does help them. Well, it helps the marriage itself anyway.
Right. And I think you said a key there is to understand.
Yes.
Seek to understand.
Yep.
If my wife said something to me and I was like, no, that's dumb, and then I don't hear her out, then I don't understand why she thinks that way. I don't understand where she's coming from, and the response that she gave me, or the question that came, or so I'm always like, what made you think of that? Or why would I do that? Or and sometimes she's like, I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about. Like, it's like, so it tells me that she's thinking about me.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yep. But if you just blow it off, like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. Well, I was just thinking. I was like, I don't need you to think. And you're shutting her out. You're shutting her out, and it's so bad. That communication is huge. Even if people are, and I've learned this, that people are fighting, right?
Yep.
They're fighting. They argue. That's their only form of communication. They don't talk to
Yes.
each other. They don't come to an agreement. They don't,
Mhm.
why'd you do this? I don't know. No, 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 no. I'm like, I know I'm going to go home. I know we're going to end up fighting. So
Yep.
don't fight. So don't fight. And then you'll tell them. And I don't know if this has ever happened in some of the consulting that you've had, but you'll tell them, be like, well, I just want to fight with her. So I'm just not going to say anything. Like, well, then don't say anything. It was like, then we had nothing to talk about. That's a problem.
Exactly right.
That is the problem.
Exactly right. Yep, that's exactly the problem.
That
Yep,
is a
you're
problem.
right.
So there's a great activity that my wife and I learned in marriage counseling, which is something
Yep.
we had to do because the first year we were getting divorced.
Yep.
And then we got back together, and then like 2 years later we were separated again, and then we got back together, and then 2 years later we're gonna, like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have things that you are thinking about or talking to yourself about or whatever, write them on a card, and then alternate topics, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna go first. Parenting.
Mhm.
I really think that we should parent the kids this way, and like, it's not an argument. It's like, I really think and really
Yeah.
like think about it, right? I
Yep.
think this is how I feel, because of, you can't just be like, well, I think this. Why? Because I hate
Exactly.
that. I hate that.
Yeah.
That's all the time. I'm like, no, not because. If she tells the kids no, I'm like, why not? Like, why are we saying no? Because if she says no, then I say no, right? Because I hate
Yes.
the,
Yes.
can I have this? And she'll hear them. I already told them no. Yeah, no, she said no, you can't do that. Yeah, she definitely said no. And,
You're a
and
team.
my
Yeah.
daughter does that all the time. She'll ask my wife something, and then she'll wait till I'm alone. And she's like, Dad, can I do this?
Yeah.
And so I've learned that. Did you ask your mom? Oh,
Yeah.
she said
Yeah.
no. And then I go, why are we saying no? Like, I'm on board with you. I'm 100%,
Yeah.
but why are we saying no? Because of
Mm.
this, like, it could be food. Can I get something to eat? She's like, no. I'm like, why are we saying no?
Yeah.
Because I'm making dinner and they're going to eat dinner in like 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a no for me. Like, it's almost like American Idol or like the Shark Tank. It's a no for me. And for that
Yes.
reason, I'm out.
Yeah.
You
Love
know,
it. Love
so
it.
you got to be on the same page. You
Yeah, you do.
gotta be on the same page.
And I think a lot of people miss the thing, the opportunity. Like you guys, again, commend you on that. That's awesome. But they miss an opportunity. Like, a lot of women will ask a man, for example, how they feel about something. My thing to that is, why don't you ask him what he thinks? Stroke his ego. He was
because we don't
born to
feel.
think, to analyze, to critique, to plan. And he loves, when you ask him his opinion on something, oh, right, what do you want to know?
Yeah, right.
Whereas if you go in for the kill and say, how do you feel about that? Well, you've missed an opportunity there. So my thing is this. When I talk to couples, number one, when you're dealing with your man, as I said, ask him what he thinks first. With the woman, ask her how she feels about it, because women like to talk about their feelings, and basically go in depth about that. Then, if you want to know how he feels about it, once he's given you his opinion on it, then if the opportunity's there, then you might ask him that. But be gentle with him, because it's probably new territory. So I'm really quite passionate about people honing in on, again, a male's born to think, a woman's born to feel. Like, this is in simplistic terms.
No.
Grab those opportunities. Grab them. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Love it. Oh, I love that. Such good points. I always make the joke, it's like, you ask a man what he thinks because men don't feel.
Yeah.
We don't
It's not
feel
come naturally to you.
Right. Women are all about the feelings, and like they take everything to heart, and like men just blow stuff off. We're like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Because we were always told, like, look at now, men now.
Yep.
Look at men 30 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. Hard work, grunts, knuckle dragging, manual labor. Like, you really provided for your family.
That's right. Yes.
Now serving your country and like beer and
Mhm.
women, rah, right?
Yeah.
You look at
Yeah.
the men now, it's all feelings and inclusion and diversity, which is, I'm not saying is bad. Please, I'm
No,
not saying it's bad.
no, I know
But,
what you're
but it's
saying.
all like, it's all you hear at universities now, like inclusion and diversity office, right?
Yeah.
Inclusion, diversity. How does it make you feel, right? The feelings part. And then the big thing is like, well, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to be somebody. Where did
Yeah.
we put this on a pedestal about going to college or doing whatever? Where was this on a
Exactly.
pedestal? And we frown on the guy who has manual labor job. We frown on the garbage man. We frown on the plumber. We frown on the
I'm
truck
so
driver,
with you.
right? And
Yeah.
so the manly jobs, they're like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get dirty.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I am so with
what?
you on this. Yeah.
It's just way different. And
Yeah.
the woman's different too. The woman isn't
Yeah.
sitting home barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen, making dinner for her man like I Leave It to Beaver, right? People who know Leave It to Beaver, Nick at Night, 70s,
Yeah.
80s, 90s. No, she's working.
Mm.
She's a woman working, and she is just as much equal in the marriage as the man. As a
Yep.
matter of fact, I know a couple stay-home dads like, I love being a stay-home dad.
Yeah.
They're running businesses, they're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I just look and I'm like, there's a transformation in itself.
It
My
is.
aunts did not work. One of my aunts didn't even have a driver's license, but they just didn't work. They stay home, they raised the kids, the men worked. Both of my grandmothers do not have a driver's license. Both of my grandmothers have never had a job. Well, I think like early, right? But like raising kids, they did not have a job. The men worked. The women stayed home with the kids. Like that's how it was. That's not like that anymore. My wife hates it. She hates
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. It's complete. You're right. It is a completely different shit. And I totally agree with this, the college pedestal stuff and the manual. Like, I have so much admiration for men that go out and do hard yakka work. I really love that. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I take my hat off to them. I see, like, I'll be driving, I see a bloke, digging the road up, and I think, oh, God, I love seeing that. I love the fact the man going out, working hard. And, I'm far from stereotypical, but I agree with a lot of the points that you're saying there. And it's a shame that we've got this imbalance of our viewpoint that if you aren't doing a certain thing, then you're somehow less than. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
Follow your passion. This is what I say to people. Whatever your heart is telling you to do, follow that and then let the head show you how to achieve it.
Yeah.
Get the planning in place. But for goodness sakes, if you've got a desire, follow it, because you won't be truly intrinsically happy until you do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And your book is about empowerment and transformation. Yep. And if you look at how it is now, a lot of that wasn't there 30 years ago. Nobody was talking about the soft skills. Nobody was talking about, like Lean Six Sigma. No one was talking about any of this stuff. Yep. And we see the shift. We see the roles kind of change. I honestly don't think that the role will change where the men become the spiritual leader of the house. I don't think that'll ever change. Men need to be the spiritual leader of their home, and the woman follows.
Yep, I agree.
That's just me. Biblically, I just don't think that's ever going to change in religiously. But if you look at it now, women are being more empowered. The working woman. It's like they're starting to be CEOs of companies. They're starting to be vice presidents. They're starting to take on a lot bigger leadership role, albeit the women pay in the United States is about 87 cents to the men's dollar. I hope that changes. I really hope that changes.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I love the fact that in the military, women are on that equal playing field. They get paid the same amount as whatever rank that they're in. And I know a lot of women that are at the top. They're the highest enlisted you can go, and they're crushing it. And I'm like, I love that. I love to see the women do that. And so let's talk about your book and how transformation and empowerment plays a huge role in your book.
Well, it does. And again, I instead of calling them chapters, I've called them tools.
Okay.
So I've gone through in tool 1, tool 2. So what I've put in there are things that I know that work with clients, that I know that have worked for me. There's one chapter in there, it's called Sacrifice versus Selfishness, which is really sort of in line with what we've been chatting about. And as women in the West, we've always been taught that, you've got to put everybody else's needs before your own and that type of thing. But in the book, I speak about it's developing that healthy selfishness. We want to be role models for our kids that don't put everyone else's needs before our own, because ultimately it can lead to a type of begrudgement. It can lead to all sorts of issues. But it's creating that balance and saying, well, look, I need to get ahead first in order to help everybody else. Like coaching, unless I'm sorted out, how can I help everybody else out? I can't. And so the things that are in there, look, there's a whole range of things. It talks about time management, where it all starts, like our maps, how they're actually imparted to us. For example, the domestic violence thing that creates an indentation in the way we view things. Some of the other topics that I talk about, the comparisons I mentioned earlier, about not comparing ourselves to other people. There's that one there was actually one that I used to do a lot with the comparisons. Oh, well, she's doing so much better than I am, and I'm not up to her level. And look, it's normal. We're human beings. We are going to compare, but we've got to get past that. And I've in the book mentioned, I think I talked about cakes and scones. Like if I've got, like if you're a cake and I'm a scone type thing, and I've got a fantastic recipe and so have you, but how can we possibly compare them? And we haven't got all the information. We've just got what's presented, and they're two different. So, so I use a lot of analogies. I use case studies, examples. I talk about gratitude as well. I call it the GR rule, and how that plays an important part in our lives. I've talked about the blame game and fear, stopping the merry-go-round, even a vision for the future, like getting on your own path. So it's really an all-encompassing sort of look at a human being's needs. It's written in everyday language. As I said, it's got case studies, it's got examples. By permission of some clients, I've included aspects of that. And in some of the end of the chapters, I've actually got questions for the reader, so they can actually implement.
Oh, nice.
So you can't just say, oh, gee, that was a good book. No, it goes a step further. So you can actually, it's a work in progress almost. Get a journal for yourself, and as I said in it, progress it, because it will help you transform your life. It will work. So I'm extremely proud of it, and thank you by the way, for being a part of it and endorsing it.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
Yeah, look, as I said, 12 months in the making. It took me. I started this in lockdown when COVID-19 first hit, and again saw it through the eyes of gratitude, because it was an opportunity I wouldn't have normally had.
Right.
So I was actually grateful for COVID-19. And in the intro, Sean, I spoke about how I was feeling. What about, geez, what if no one likes it? Or what if it's no good? Oh, God.
Yeah.
And off it started to roll. And then I started to recognise the signs, and I thought, no, hang on. Don't go putting your own roadblocks up, girl. Stop that. You're not going to know if you don't have a go. So I actually enlisted a book coach, and gee, I'm glad I didn't know what was involved though. I'd never have done it. By gee, it's a long process. You know what it's like.
Right.
Goodness me. But on average, other than a few days, I had a few days where I was a bit crook. I spent probably 4 to 6 hours each day for 12 months. 3.5 months took me to write the actual book. 5 months to edit, And
Wow.
the rest was, yeah. Oh, it's a test of endurance for me. It was, come on, girl, you're a determined woman. Get it done. Focus on the end. So very proud of it. I've actually got it into the local bookstores here in where I live in Traralgon in Victoria, and in the library as well, which has been tremendous. And I've got the media on board, which has been great. So a lot of hard work behind the scenes, but ultimately this book is a culmination of stuff that I know works, and I'm really hoping that people, nothing to do with me, but I want people to buy it because I know it works. It
I love
really
it.
will. Yeah.
Where can people buy the book? Because I'd love to get a copy since I endorse the thing. I want to get my own copy. Where could people get the book?
Well, for you guys that are international, it's on Amazon. Perfect. So it's on Amazon. It's on there's ebook available as well on Kindle, through my website, www.aishaalim.com, and of course, locally as well. But a note to add there too: if you see on Amazon it says out of stock, it's because it's print on demand at the moment. So I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. If you go in there, it says out of stock, don't worry about it, just keep going.
Right.
So yeah, that would be the easiest way for you guys to get it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So final question before we wrap the show. How do you elevate the world around you?
Through my own character and conduct. I've got a very, very positive attitude. I choose, and I use the word, I emphasize the word choose. I choose to be happy. I choose to be positive. I choose to be optimistic. I don't bury my head in the sand and say negativity doesn't exist. We all have had days where we feel a bit crap or, a bit down in the dumps and so forth. But again, it's being grateful for things, and that then transposes into, okay, if I'm grateful for this, then I'm grateful for that. And that light just keeps spreading. I mean, I'm using my hands here, but people can't see, but it will basically envelop your attitude, and then the way that you view things and the way that you conduct yourself will always be positive. And I'll use an example, a personal example for me. I chose Islam only a few years ago. I was a Christian, and when I moved here to Traralgon, not a lot of Muslims here. It's a little country town, and of course I wear the hijab. And I can remember running into a few people. Now I've got a couple of sort of, oh, what's she like? What, is she normal? Like that sort of a look. But as soon as I smiled and I started to speak, so, oh yeah, she's all right. Yep, she's a good chick. That sort of stuff, how they talk. But it's breaking down. I'm very passionate again about breaking down barriers, and I think that can be done. Well, a lot of that can be achieved through your attitude, the way you conduct yourself. And I am intrinsically a very happy and positive person, and that then transpires into ignoring what I see, that fear, and breaking it by smiling and speaking to them. And it's like automatically they go, oh. So again, I think that's me into the world, my positivity, my genuine love and compassion for people. I genuinely care. I don't judge. That's not my place, nor is it anybody else's. And I think if a lot of people could suspend judgment and, just genuinely love and care about people, we would have such a beautiful place to live. And I'm not saying that we don't, but we could spread a lot more of that love and yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love that so much. And I agree. I think that the world has become ugly and nasty to people. And with social media, it has brought out the worst of people on display for the world to see. When, they call them the Karens of the world, right? And all that. There's the cancel culture that's going on right now. There's so much stuff that's going on.
There's a lot over there.
and people are angry and people are upset. And
Yeah.
and that's why I said, like, 30 years ago, somebody would say something and you'd blow them off, like, whatever, man. Now all of a sudden we take stock in what other people think about us. We live our lives according to how someone thinks about us. Like, why?
Yep.
Why does
Exactly.
that matter? My whole life, my mom was like, doesn't matter what other people think about you. They don't pay your bills. Like,
Yeah.
okay. Even in school, they're like, why do you care what the other kids think? You're going to graduate school and then you're never going to see them again. I can't name but like 2 or 3 people ever that I still keep in contact with from high school. And I graduated in 2001. 20 years ago, I graduated 20 years ago.
Yep.
I maybe talked to 2 people. I bet you all them people who were bullies in high school, whatever, I bet their life sucks.
Exactly right.
You know, like, you don't even know what they're doing because you don't even talk to them people. Right. I mean, and I tell my kids that, I'm
amazing. That's exactly it. Look, that's a great point you've spoken about, because the people that you surround yourself with says a lot about you.
Yeah.
So who do you choose to be with? Do you choose to be with people who have genuine optimism, who challenge you, have stimulating conversations? Or do you hang out with the bully from school who's got no idea if he's up, down, or Arthur or Martha? You know, in all honesty, the people that are negative, or as you said, the bullying and so forth, are really actually unhappy people. They haven't developed self-awareness. They haven't got the positive view of themselves. Their self-esteem is really low. I feel sorry for them in that sense. But again, it's not my responsibility, nor is it anyone else's, to ensure that they're happy or that they're feeling secure by hanging out with them or engaging with them. You know, I'm not that powerful to influence, neither is anybody else. And ultimately, I wasn't put on the planet to make sure anyone else was happy. I wasn't put on the planet to make sure that you're living out your purpose or that you're hanging out with the right people. I was put on this planet to ensure that I'm doing the best that I can. I'm here living out my own purpose, and the flow-on effect of that, then that's where it comes in. But I think that, you know, if we get away from this, the comparisons, the hanging out with the wrong people and so forth, focus on getting ourselves right, then we're in a position to give to other people.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely a great way to end the show and a great message to give people. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed being here. Yeah.
Where's the best place for the listeners to know more about you?
Yeah, probably get on Facebook. Aisha Alim, and I've also got a business page. I mean, look, it's hard on the business page because people don't generally engage with that much. But I've got Aisha Alim Coaching Solutions. But yeah, get on my Facebook page is probably the best place, or you know, my website. They can jump on there. But yeah, drop me a line and say g'day.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for being on the show. And definitely get the book. Tell us the name of the book and where they can get it. Yep,
it's called It's All Within You. And the tagline is Tools for Transformation.
Love it.
So again, Kindle, ebook, Kindle is the ebook, Amazon, that's for the international, my website, and through me. Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for coming on the show, and I wish you the best for the rest of 2021.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If any of our conversation resonated with you today, please go to her website. It's in the show notes, Aisha Alim. It is right there in the show notes. Check out her Facebook, check out her LinkedIn, send her a friend request, and go get her book. I endorse it. A lot of other people are endorsing this book. It has a lot of amazing tools that is going to allow you to get all of that that's within you out to the world, because it's true what she says, it's all within you. Get her book on Amazon today. Make sure you subscribe to Life Transformation Radio. Leave us a rating and a review. And as I close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live an amazing life.